Okay, so I chose to do my paper focused on the question, how does music in movies impact me? What assumptions have I made about these movies? And how might those assumptions impact my viewing experience? Um, Off the bat, music is extremely important to a film. I believe it makes or breaks a movie. Every great film is accompanied by either an amazing score or a soundtrack. This is my thesis statement. Music is a critical element in film that has the power to conjure an emotional response and can have a profound impact on its success. There are some techniques that jumped out at me when I was thinking about this question. It's tone clusters and dissonance. You see these a lot in horror films, and it allows me, well, these tone clusters and dissonance, when you hear like a shift and it builds up and it creates either an anxious tone or, that feeling that something's about to happen. I use this to assume what's going to happen next in the film. So I'm able to prepare myself. For example, in a horror movie, when that happens, I cover my eyes with my fingers and I look through my fingers and I try to avoid what's gonna pop out at me next. And 90% of the time, I'm correct. And I use those tone clusters and those music cues to avoid having my heart skip a beat and being terrified. Another element is when the the music builds up at emotional moments. This can be when a character is realizing something or putting things together in their head, and not much is going on visually or dialogue wise, but the music is basically carrying your emotions. This happens to me. When that happens in a movie, it evokes emotions for me. Like it tells me the character is going through something without the character saying I'm going through something, or without it happening on the screen in front of my eyes. It allows me to carry through those emotions, feel them even sometimes, and really understand what's going on and the depth of what's happening and its effect on the characters or the plot or whatever it may be. During these musical moments in an emotional movie, if it's a sad one, that's when the waterworks come. That's when I start to cry. So music in that sense increases my viewing experience a lot. It really sucks me in and I feel all the emotions. So this is what I said. Music can express what's happening beyond dialogue and visual. An example of this is I Need You by M83. And this is seen in Divergent in the zipline scene. Beatrice is nervous, everybody's going crazy. It's her new group of people. She doesn't know, everything's happening fast. They're all doing a zip line. She goes on the zip line because she can't really back down now. Like it's too late, so you gotta go. And as she's going, there's this moment, and you can see like on her face, like she's like amazed, but the music is built up so much. Like you can tell something is happening. Like there's a change, there's a shift in her whole outlook on the imminent future. Like something big is happening, something big will be done. Another way that music impacts my viewing experience for the better is by depicting setting. A good example of this is in The Outsiders. And I'm talking about Outsiders, the complete novel. It was the second time this movie was released. Francis Coppola re-released this movie after redoing the music in it to fit the storyline better, which is a fun fact. And if you're going to watch The Outsiders, make sure you're watching The Outsiders, the complete novel, released in 2005. Side note. But yeah, so as soon as I start watching that movie, you're flooded by music from the 1960s, late 50s. All the music playing in this movie are songs that the characters themselves would have listened to in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1960s. That really allows the viewer, or me in this case, to be just like plopped in that setting. I can really put myself in the character's shoes, like this is the ambiance of what is happening in their lives. Excuse me. There's a scene where Ponyboy and Johnny go into this church as a hideout, and the church is completely falling apart. And in We're Gonna Move by Elvis Presley, that song is playing while they're discovering and checking out the place. And it's saying, well, there's a leak in this old building. There's holes in the roof, etc. And as that's playing, they're finding holes in the roof. They're finding leaks in the building. It also says there's no pane in this old window, and there are no window panes. Everything's boarded up. It really is, it accentuates the moment. It's like what they would have chosen if they chose a soundtrack for their life, if these were real people. So, as an overview, music can impact moods, themes, and settings. And they also suggest thought and emotions. When I'm watching a movie, as I said, the music tells me setting, it tells me where I am, it tells me the mood, like how I'm supposed to feel at this moment. And then when things go wrong and when things take a turn, I'm able to acknowledge that, or even sense it's going to happen before it happens, or just assume that a character is experiencing a certain emotion, or figuring something out, or thinking something else that is being portrayed, but the music says otherwise. I think music is completely essential. Without music, movies would fall flat almost every time. I have not watched a movie without music that I enjoyed. If I ever did. Can't remember. But yes, music is essential, and it absolutely has the power to make or break a movie. Thank you.